Good evening, folks, and to the horror corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we're doing a live commentary watch along for Ham's The Satanic Rites of Dracula. This is the last film in the Hammer series to feature Christopher Lee. However, there was one film after that that had Dracula in it, but wasn't played by Christopher Lee, and that's the Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. It did have Peter Cushing in it as Van Helsing. Some people don't count that one, but I think you have to count it, even though you might not want to. uh, and let's be serious. I mean, this isn't a very well loved entry in the franchise. A lot of people don't like this one, but I really enjoy it. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. I think it has some of the best scenes between Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. So it's always anytime they're on screen together, it's like gold for me, you know. And there's a lot of good stuff in here. And Dracula does have quite a bit of dialogue in this film, as compared to some of the others. And it's a solid follow up to Dracula AD 1972. Some of the other films don't have as good continuity in the franchise, you know. But this one follows up AD 1972 pretty well. And you got some returning cast members like Michael Coles as Inspector Murray, along, along with obviously Cushing as Lordamar Van Helsing. And you do have Jessica Van Helsing returning, but the actress was replaced with Joanna Lumley, where it was Stephanie Beacham in Dracula AD 1972. But yeah, I just think this one's so much fun. I enjoy the premise of it, and in a lot of ways, you know, they add little elements of the spy thriller in there. There's even like car chases in here and stuff. It's it's a lot of it's kind of out there at times, but it's funny. It's very 70s, the music and the um. But yeah, guys, I'll give you a couple minutes if you want to hang out and watch Satanic Rites of Dracula. Grab my trusty controller, and we'll get started in a few minutes. Before we get started, just wanted to show off some cool items I got for these awesome Hammer Horror autographs. I got Carolyn Monroe there with Christopher Lee there from Taste the Blood. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not Taste the Blood. It's Dracula AD 1972. Damn it. This one is from Taste the Blood of Dracula and this Ursula Blair. You see there with Linda Hayden. I love this shot. That's such a great picture. Uh, Amazing gothic tone, as Taste the Blood of Dracula had some of the best gothic tone of the whole series of period. I think I love Taste the Blood Dracula. And yeah, I will say before we get started, there's a couple things that I feel do hurt this film, and probably gives it the reputation that it has. On the fact that it seems like a significantly smaller in this film, you know, it feels a lot cheaper looking, especially the intro. My God, the credit scene with the it looks like a it looks like a cardboard cutout of Dracula like floating around the screen. Oh man, that really hurts it with a super cheesy like '70s cop show theme music going on there. Oh man, yeah, that's bad. But there's a lot to in this film. I love the fact that Dracula has kind of an alter ego in this film, as a property developer named Dee Dee Denham. Yeah, hilarious. Oh man. There's just some great scenes between Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in this movie that is just some of my favorite. And we're gonna have a lot of fun, guys, talking about Dracula AD 1972 as well as the Satanic Rites of Dracula. That's what we're watching today. Um, yes, the basic plot of this one I enjoy as well. Dracula plans to bring about a black plague to basically kill everyone on Earth. And of its time, isn't it? Some people say about COVID-19. um, but yeah, and it's got this satanic cult going on, and they sacrifice people in the name of the apocalypse that's coming. And the people in the satanic cult are basically prominent members of society, like government officials, and yeah, obviously very corrupt, working with Dracula, you know, the satanic cult to bring about the Black Plague. And he calls them his four horsemen of the appointed apocalypse. And another thing that's funny about this one is Hammer Rose tends to new and interesting ways to kill a vampire. In this film, Peter Cushing as Van Helsing uses a gun loaded with silver bullets. Silver bullets set for werewolves. Uh, dude. But yeah, not only that is they use hawthorn bush that's supposed to symbolize Christ and the crown of thorns. uh, we also see the return of the clear running water gimmick that we saw in Dracula Prince of Darkness. I always thought that was funny. Really clear running water, that's all it takes to take out a vampire, to take out Dracula himself, the king of all vampires. Ugh. That one always bothers me, that ending, Dracula Prince of Darkness, the way he like falls in the ice. Oh man. I actually enjoy this film more than Dracula Prince of Darkness, honestly. I don't care what anybody says. I love the Satanic Rites of Dracula. So hey, my buddy from Horror and Metal Hellhound, what's up? Cohort of the Morbid Hour live stream, along with Horror Fan 88. Catch all those great shows. We just recently did one on. Uh, we were ranking our favorite Christmas horror movies. That was a good one. Talking about Merciful Fate. So check that out. All right, so we're gonna get started. Let's get into it here. We are watching this Satanic Sub Dracula from Hammer Films from 1973. All right, hit and play right now. My trusty controller. Here we go. The Satanic Rites of Dracula. Let's watch this some intro with the cardboard cutout of Dracula floating around on the screen. Gotta love it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Satanic Rites of Dracula is public domain, or at least it was at one time. Here we go with that 70s cop show sounding theme. Do, do, do. There it is, that little silhouette. It's not even a good silhouette. It just makes it look so cheap. Popping the popcorn. And it just yeah, it just kills me every time. Hey, popping the popcorn. Welcome. We are watching the Satanic Rites of Dracula from Hammer Films, otherwise known as Count Dracula and His Vampire Bride, as it was released in the U.S., a heavily edited version. And you'll find lots of really bad transfers of this film and like a lot of packages with other horror movies. Whenever you see those like 50 movies for a type of box set things. But the Blu-ray is it's pretty good transfer, I must say. It's a bare bones disc though, which kind of sucks. There's no special features or anything. It's just movie. But at least it looks decent. Is London Bridge. Now, the original title of this film was going to be Dracula is Dead and Well and Living in London, and Christopher Lee did not like that. And he said he was doing the film under protest. And we all know how Lee feels about doing all the Dracula sequels. For the most part, he didn't talk about it and didn't like doing them. He liked doing the original Dracula, but a lot of the sequels he was kind of reeled in by the film company. He didn't really want to do them, but he didn't want people to lose their jobs, so he did it. Under protest. Thus do we dedicate ourselves to your service and your commands. There is plenty of blood and nudity in this one. As they're sacrificing the woman on the altar of the Black Mass. She's completely naked. I always find it funny too how there's no explanation of how Drag returned from Dracula AD 1972 and what happened to him at the end of that. He just kind of just shows up. It's like, okay, he's back. And there's this guy here that's, I believe he's like an informant for the police, working with the police, and he's there to kind of, catch them in the act. And they keep him as prisoner, but he does manage to escape briefly. As you can see, the interesting fashion choices of this movie. Very, very 1970s. Look at their furry jackets. If you're just tuning in, guys, we are watching the Satanic Rites of Dracula, the final film in the Hammer Dracula series to feature Christopher Lee. Was his swan song, Hammer, playing the Count. And once again, he does a great job. I think he's awesome in this movie, as he always was. And Dracula lives in this kind of gothic mansion, of course. He's got little henchmen and guards, you know. But once again, this is Dracula in the modern age, as we saw him in the 1972. He's in the present day, or at least the 1980s anyway, not like the old 1800s or whatever. Victoria, these guys tell their plans, interrupting the ritual. But the guards on his motorbike. It's funny. There's some car chase scenes in there. It's funny for a Dracula movie that you'd see like spy thriller like this, and a little bit of James Bond in there and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I think it is. Oh, shot right in the head. So the man does manage to escape, but he's in rough shape, so they take him back to the police station. And he's trying to tell him everything he knows, from being there in the mansion and witnessing the satanic rituals and what's going on. But of course, he's dying. Know, he's laying on the slab there. Somehow, I don't think this guy's gonna make it. But does manage to mention a few names of like the people that are government officials and stuff. Oh, thank you. JKS 80s horror fan. Sean Patrick is Master Hammer Horror on YouTube. Oh, that's so nice of you. Hey, I'm wearing my Christopher Lee Dracula t-shirt. Look at that. Nice, huh? And they're ready to sacrifice this lovely young woman. And but what happens is interesting. And they're using chicken's blood. They call on the name of the devil. They got the big pentagram in the center of the floor there. Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen the elements of the black mass rituals being used in the Dracula. We saw that in first in Taste the Blood of Dracula, and then we saw it in Dracula AD and this film. They can kind of continue that, which I always thought was something interesting, different. Other than Christopher Lee, who do you think played a good Dracula? Asks 80s horror fan. Oh, obviously Bela Lugosi. you know, Several people. I think Gary Oldman did a great job in the remake from 1990. Even had Jacks played Dracula. He was pretty good. I'd say probably my least favorite was John Carradine and the Universal's sequels, House Dracula and House of Frankenstein. I didn't really care for him much. Thought he was a little bit cheesy. Baron Latos. But yeah, Christopher Lee is the man. He was always awesome. I even liked him in the Jess Franco Dracula, the Count Dracula, which wasn't from Hammer Films. It's worth a watch. I don't like it as much as the Hammer movies, but it's worth a watch. I always enjoy me some Jess Franco's. And they're trying to record everything the guy said before he dropped dead. Not really a lot of information, but they got a little to go on, to further engage. Oh yes, Langella, yes, 1979 version of Dracula was very good. Yeah, very handsome Dracula, very charismatic. And they're calling in Expector Murray from Dracula AD 1972, played by Michael Coles once again. And so, yeah, as I said, this film has some pretty good continuity from the last movie, which I like. Not all the films really connect like this one does. Yeah, and here he is, Inspector Murray. Inspector Murray worked with Laura Mervyn and Helsing in the last film as well. So that's what happens. He connects with them again because he thinks there's some weird stuff going on, some cult activity. Obviously, Van Helsing is an expert on the occult. Not only but an ex vampires, obviously. And the police is showing on this tape what they know so far and who's involved in the cult and everything. Hear ye, great demons, watch these thy disciples, give them thy power over frail mankind. What's up, Drum Smash 88? We got horror and metal in the house. We got popping the popcorn, JKS 80s horror fan, and Drum Smash 88 in the chat. And they're about to sacrifice this young woman here in the Black Mass ritual. That'd be awesome. I'm game. Give me a call, guys. Hell yeah. And then mentioning all these, like, you know, prominent members of society that are involved in this cult, these corrupt government officials. By the 6,000 terrors of hell. Hmm. As I said, they never really explain how Dracula comes back for this one after the events of AD 1972. He just kind of shows up. Oh, he's back. With a new evil plan to basically destroy mankind. With this plague that he's going to bring about. Yep, they got this guy, an expert on germ warfare. So he's the one that pretty much creates the plague. We got Mr. Dan Pham in the house. Got caught up on the Hammer Mummy series today. Hey, what's up? Nice. Jay Dead. Hey guys, just found your live stream randomly and already subbed. So, do any of y'all believe in the paranormal dark forces? Yeah, so they hire this guy to create a nasteria that kills people, a plague, spreads like wildfire. Hmm. Dracula's evil servants are messing with this young girl who works with the police station. I believe she's a reporter, a news reporter. You like car chase, 70s style, baby. Just those tiny little, English cars, you know, little Mr. Bean cars. Mr. Bean, he used to drive the little tiny little car. Yeah, you don't see a lot of big Cadillacs in the UK. All these little compact cars. At least that's how it was back in the day. I don't know how it is now. Oh, they got it cornered, taking her hostage. Baptism of blood. It acts on them like some kind of drug. About to stab the girl. This girl, this like satanic priest or whatever, she's pretty weird. She's kind of creepy. I'm glad they came with the name Satanic Rites of Dracula. It makes a lot more sense than Count Dracula and his vampire bride because that has nothing to do with this movie. I mean, he has several brides in the movie, but you never really see him with them, other than he takes a few victims here and there. But brides are live in the basement and in one room there, like as basically one of his brides. But we do see a bunch of women like in this dungeon type thing. They have inverted crosses marked in blood. Then comes the man, Peter Cushing, as Larimar Van Helsing. You gotta consult the expert in the occult and vampirism as well, of course. Watch what happens to this girl after they've stabbed her to death. She opens her eyes. She's alive. And all the stab wounds and cuts disappear. And she's whole again and alive again. It's actually not a bad effect on showing the cut disappear. Coming from a movie where they did not have a very big budget. But there is some nice blood and gore here and there. Some nudity. Obviously, Peter Cushing is awesome in this, as he is in every movie he's ever been in. What hobgoblins of fantasy creatures. As for witches, they certainly exist, although 90% of them are charlatans. Things do go bump in the night, quite often. Inspector Murray asks him if he just thinks it's a black mass ritual. And nope, there's more to it than that. The fountainhead of life itself, the glorification of the more often than not human blood. The slaughter of the crocodile, the inherent vileness of evil, triumphant the obscenities, the mocking of the supplicants, the human sacrifice. Of course, could be fake, but it's the symbolism that counts, the worship of blood. And this film clocks in at a lean, mean 87 minutes. That's it. In a time where every single freaking movie is 2 hours long. I watched Violent Night the other day, and I was like, "Oh, come on, this movie is ridiculously long. Why?" I know a lot of people like it. It's pretty popular. It's all right, but man, did it have to be 2 hours long or whatever? It certainly felt like 2 hours. Here we have Jessica, but played by a different actress this time, Joanna Lumley. What do you guys think? Do you prefer Joanna Lumley or Stephanie Beacham as Jessica Van Helsing? I don't know why they changed actresses. I don't know why. Did Stephanie just not want to do it, or they just want to go with someone more mature or whatever? I don't know. My wife said that. Said you kind of look like Peter Cushing. I'll take that. I'll take that. This version of Jessica certainly seems smarter and more mature, though. Yeah, I like both of them. I don't. Yes, and the guy who creates the plague is an old colleague of Van Helsing. So yeah, he goes to pay him a visit, and what the hell are you doing? So they kind of send him. The police kind of send him to visit with him and see what's going on. How's this guy involved? Van Helsing is on the prowl. I always kind of wish Peter Cushing was in like every entry in the Dracula series. It would have been so much better, right? That's funny. He's in two that don't have Christopher Lee. Brides of Dracula didn't have Christopher Lee, and The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. He played Van Helsing, and Christopher Lee's not in that. So kind of sucks. I wish he was in all of them with Christopher Lee. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And there you go. The doctor has all these funguses laid out, trying to determine what he can mix up, what kind of deadly concoction he can come up with. Stephanie all the damn way. I like her too. I don't really have preference. I'd say maybe Stephanie was more attractive. Maybe. Doctor's getting nervous. I just happen to be in the neighborhood. What are you working on these days? Guy's sweating. That's a good question. If Peter Cushing and Christopher were working today, what parts would they get? I don't know. Would they be in horror? Or would they be like, Christopher Lee is doing Lord of the Rings and stuff? And Star Wars and obviously Peter Cushing was in Star Wars in the original Star Wars. Maybe they do something like that. Yeah, yeah, I did hear that John Carpenter wanted Peter Cushing to play Dr. Loomis, and he wanted Christopher Lee to play Dr. Loomis too. That's pretty well known. Christopher Lee even once told John Carpenter that was the biggest mistake I ever made, not taking the part. Hey, Dino, what's going on? Got the late horror show in the house. He likes Satanic Rites of Dracula. Yeah. And around this time, Hammer was starting to, lose their luster because they didn't have a big as budget on these movies as they had once. They had, the budgets were starting to suffer and the films looked cheaper, and because they weren't making as much money, because they couldn't compete with the American audiences, and the horror that was going on at that time was more like realistic, while Hammer was kind of stuck with the vampire stuff and the monsters and all that. Yeah, and Dean and Ted are the modern Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. There he is. He's back. Dracula. Oh yeah, I love me a good Giallo movie. All right, guys, I'm hitting the pause button. I'll be right back. All right, guys, sorry about that. Shall we continue? All right, Dracula has just made his first appearance in the film. As I said, they don't explain how he came back. He's just back. So they took the news reporter girl hostage, and Dracula's paying her a visit, and she becomes Dracula's next victim. And Dracula's as menacing as ever in this film. I think he's great. I think Christopher Lee's awesome in this one, just as he always is. And I think it's fun that he has the little alter ego there as Dee Dee Venom, property developer. to cover up his evil deeds. His big plan, of course, unfolds on the 23rd of the month, the Sabbath of the Undead. That's when he plans to release the plague with his 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. As you can see, this doctor is not too tightly wrapped. In God's name, man! What is it you're working on? Dude's freaking out. Psh, Van Helsing just slapped the shit out of him. These notes, they refer to a new strain of bacillus plant. Bubonic plague, the Black Death. No cure, not a preventive technique, but a means for accelerating it. I had to do it. Oh, really? Drum Smash 88 said there's going to be some awesome Four Horsemen based mass from Lord Grimley's Manor this year. Nice. Sounds awesome. And the doctor saying contagion spreads like wildfire. Then seconds the disease takes hold. This guy apparently won an prize for his research. So they got the right guys working for him. What's so important about the 23rd of the month? Going to report this matter to higher authorities. One of Dracula's henchmen just knocked out Helsing. You see Dracula carrying his victim away. Awesome stuff. This is class. I don't know how you cannot love that. A lot of people don't like this one, including Christopher Lee. He did it under protest. Oh, the guy just hung himself. Either that or the guards killed him. It looked like a suicide. Don't you worry, Van Helsing's going to get to the bottom of it. He's going to get his gun with silver bullets. Take care of business. It's hilarious. It's like, you do know that's vampires, right? Not werewolves. silver bullets are not supposed to kill vampires. Of course, this film has my favorite Dracula line, one of my absolute favorite scenes in the series, which I'll get into later. Love it. Dracula has a lot of good lines in this movie. A few of the movies he doesn't have too many. Obviously, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, he had no lines, and apparently, according to Christopher Lee, he said that lines were written for him. Dialogue was written for him for Prince of Darkness, but he just refused to do it. He hated the dialogue. Some people I don't believe that, but I believe it's coming from Christopher Lee. I believe it. Why would he make that up? What? The wife's calling me. Sorry, guys. And there's the girl. She's like a black priestess sort of a Pelham House is what they call is Dracula's mansion there. Now we get Jessica snooping around. You got Balls Girl getting involved. Just kind of throwing herself in harm's way. And she stumbles upon the lair of the brides of Dracula, which looks like this dungeon or something. They're all chained up. All the vampire brides are chained up. They're basically his slaves, more than they're his brides. Dracula is not a very good husband. He doesn't let any of his brides have any victims or take any credit for anything. He has to be the master thing. Typical guy. I even got the news reporter girl down there. Looks pretty rough, all torn up. Still alive though. Now she's a vampire. To show Jessica her fangs. This is a pretty creepy scene, man. Showing the bride slowly out of the coffins, ganging up on Jessica. But yeah, they're all chained up though. They can't get too far. Trying to rip her clothes off. Trying to get a little lesbian action in. Inspector Murray's there, and they hear Jessica's screams, and they run down to the dungeon. And he sees the vampires. Made it just in time. Peter, please don't leave me here. Uh oh. Don't do it, man. And the police gets fooled by her because he knows her. Like, please help me. Smart guy busting out the stake from the coffin. The coffins are all wooden, of course. Takes out a splinter and stabs her in the heart. In God's name. We got deep fried awesomeness in the chat. What's going on? Yeah, this movie is crazy. I will not argue with that. It is crazy. It's a whole lot of fun, I think. Kind of one of the more interesting plots of the franchise. At least they tried something different. I like it. He wanted all the cheese, the cheap budget. There's still a lot of great stuff in here. Luckily, Inspector Murray and Jessica escape. They didn't get to meet Dracula yet, but they have a good idea what's going on now. You saw the vampire women. They were utterly lost. All but the last vestige of sanity had left them. There's a shadow, a specter that haunts us all. Think you know what he's getting at. We're not dealing with ordinary criminal statues, nor with enemy agents. These people have powers beyond anything you can imagine. Who started the foundation? They said a man by the name of D.D. Denham. He allows no precedent to be used. Dee Dee Denim. Yeah, never seen any other Hammer horror films, believe it or not. This is the only Hammer movie you've seen? Oh man, got some work to do. We got a lot of classics. Check them out. Horror of Dracula, Curse of Frankenstein, The Mummy, Curse of the Werewolf. There's so many vampire lovers. Check that out. No, Madhouse is Amicus, I believe, which is the other British horror company of like the 70s. That Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were in some of those movies too. Madhouse is with Vincent Price, and Peter Cushing is in that one. Yeah, he was in. Peter Cushing was in The House That Dripped Blood, and Ingrid Pitt was in that. Yeah, yeah. This was Tales from the Crypt. Peter Cushing was in that. That's Amicus. Yeah, they're similar. Although a lot of the Amicus movies took place in modern day as opposed to like, the Renaissance era, like a lot of the Hammer movies take place. Yeah, they have a lot of great ones too. Probably say Tales from the Crypt is my favorite. The original Tales from the Crypt movie. I love it. That Peter Cushing was a zombie in that. Well, that's cool. And the Dee Dee Denim group of companies. Guess who's about to pay a visit to Mr. Denim? Peter Cushing. Vampires are spectral creatures. Their image casts no reflection in the mirror. Nor can the lens of the camera record their likeness. Or something. They're showing a picture where they believe Dracula was there, but they don't see his vision. Symbols of good, the crucifix, the word of God is written in the Holy Bible. Clear running water symbolizing purity. It lives in the mortal dread. The hawthorn tree, which provided Christ, which is crown of thorns. That's a new one for this movie, right? Indeed, the 23rd of the month appears the worst of all. It's the Sabbath for the undead. Satanic circles which govern our fate and the fate of this earth, perhaps even the universe. So Van Helsing knows his shit. They got the right guy for the job. Another disaster is imminent. Hey, what's up? Horrific Nightmares, JM in the chat. What's going on, man? You're watching the Satanic Rites of Dracula. final film for Christopher Lee in the Hammer Dracula series. The Night of the Soulless Ones. But Dracula eventually end with a total barren earth. And he comes to the realization that Dracula wants to die. He wants to end it all. He's tired of living forever and existing in fear and dread. And that's Dracula's plan. He wants to not only kill everyone, but himself as well. Where does it rank in the series for me? I rank it, as a matter of fact, at number 7. Yes. Followed by number 8, Dracula AD 1972, and the Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires in that number 9, of course. Yep, that's where it lands. 7 for me. But all of them, I don't dislike any of them. Even the Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires is still entertaining and fun. Not a great movie, but it's just wacky, the craziness of it. Kung fu meets vampire. I like it, but I like Prince of Darkness, but there are things I don't like about it. Yeah, I kind of find it a little bit overrated. Um, Series, a lot of people put that high up. I know. Oh yeah, definitely not a fan of the ends. Not a fan of the Prince of Darkness. I hate that part actually. It's like, no, come on. But we do see the return of the clear running water thing in this movie. The sprinkler system gets the vaporides. The sprinkler system. That's what kills them. The running water kills me. Yeah. Yeah. But in this movie, we have silver bullets. Silver bullets. And Van Helsing actually makes the bullets himself. He melts the cross, pull it out of it. He's pretty crafty, isn't he? Knows how to make a bullet and shit. And you can see Peter Cushing is 100 committed in this movie. Like, he doesn't half-ass it. No matter how like cheap or like cheesy a movie is, he always gives it 100%. That's what I love about him. That's why he's one of my favorite actors. Yes, it is cheesy fun. Yes. I enjoy the hell out of it. I even like the end, honestly. Even the death of Dracula, this in this movie, because as we know, Dracula dies in every movie in the Hammer scene. I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun the way he dies of the hawthorn bush. Oh yeah, Christopher Lee, absolutely one of the greats. They are to me, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. Like without them, you don't even have Hammer horror. Like, granted, they did a lot of other stuff together, but the most memorable stuff for me is Hammer. Look at these guys with the sniper rifles, B-70s jackets. I just like that this one has good continuity with the last one. Follows the story. Get the returning cast. It's a fun story too. Whole plague thing. The only thing that really kills me is that intro with the cheesy like cardboard cutout of Dracula looking around screen. Oh, that kills me. Oh, really? You never saw Prince of Darkness? So what do you think of it? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Prince of Darkness is solid. It's got gothic tone. You got Barbara Shelley in there. It was great. Yeah, solid cast. I just wish he talked. Like here we go. He's gonna meet Mr. D.D. Denham on the top of this. If you would have mentioned my name, the dude's like, "You're wasting your time." As soon as he says his name is Van Helsing, oh, go right on up. Need to go right up to his apartment, sir. I think they know each other. I like when Christopher Lee puts on the funny accent as Dedham. It's hilarious. Stop meddling. Another one of my favorite scenes coming up. There he's like hiding behind the light, in darkness. Like really, you don't know. You're not supposed to know that's him. Just a little bit in the shadow. I've been expecting you. I am the master. I mean, you can see clearly that that's him. You know? Especially this is the high definition, so you can easily see that that's his face. There are a few vague rituals, a little occultism, a touch of mysticism at Pelham House, nothing more. Evil begets evil. There is an unholy order in this place. It is not a question of a little occultism, a touch of mysticism, Mr. Denham. It is vampirism. Yeah, the Blu-ray. Yep, it's a good transfer. There's no special features or anything. It's just the movie, but it looks good. He conveniently drops his books and he's like grabs a little Bible there or something. What does he have there? Am I to suffer the same fate? You're an interfering man, Professor. Do not meddle, or you will have to deal with me. Oh! Yeah, it's a little like Bible, and once Dracula put his hand on it, he like, shh. You are Count Dracula. Dracula is exposed. Uh-oh, he's got the silver bullets. Foolish man. Bullets cannot harm me. A silver bullet, Dracula. Hmm. It's freaking awesome. Love it. I love it. Foolish man. It cannot be made so simple for him. Not for Van Helsing, nor for his granddaughter. It's awesome. Love it. That's great stuff. Do not meddle. And he puts his hand on the. Like, shh. There's the high priestess chick trying to seduce this guy, Inspector Murray. Just you must help me. I want to get away from this place. And trying to lure him in. Just like the girl in the original movie, the vampire woman, played by Valerie Gallant. She's like, oh, please help me. And once she sees his neck, it's all over. She's hypnotizing him. And he's falling for it, huh? He's like kissing her back and fool. In God's in God's name. Tosses the net over. Stake her ass. Oh, nasty. Resourceful fellow, Inspector Murray. Ah! Oh shit! That got me. That actually made me jump a little bit. One of the other brides came out of nowhere. Who's got the power of faith of the cross? You have to have faith for that to work, Mr. Vincent. What movie's that, huh? Hell yeah, man. Here we go, the sprinkler system. uh, Clear running water. They all melt. That's all it takes. That's it. Uh, That's so funny. All you have to do is like sprinkle them or use a hose to kill them or something. At least in the old movies, you use holy water. That makes sense at least. But just running water, that's it. What's the significance of that? Yeah. Uh-oh, Jessica's on the altar. The altar of sacrifice. Just like the other Jessica was in the last movie, Satanic um, Dracula AD 1972. Same thing happened to her. Put her on the altar. Another one of my favorite scenes coming up. And they bring in Van Helsing, force him to watch the Black Mass ritual. Christopher Lee has some great lines. And they come. Dude's awesome. Looking at him at the altar. The Prince of Darkness. Dracula. Whoosh. I like how he goes like this with his hands and the fire comes up. Almost like Kane in WWE. When it's Inspector Murray about to take out all the computers and all the research they're doing. And he sees the cult going on in the video, but you can't see Dracula's reflection. All right, buddy, take care. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Horrific Nightmares JM. Thanks for joining us tonight, and everyone who has joined us in the chat tonight. I call upon my supreme triumph. I choose the spawn of your blood to be my consort. Comes the instrument of my final conquest. He's got the capsule with the plague inside. Swifter, more awesome than the Black Death. The plague. In that scene alone, he has more dialogue than half the movie. In the first moments, every muscle, every fire, with torment and agony in the days to come, you will pray for death. Love it. Release. That's right. That's exactly what he wants. The ghastly annihilation of entire planet. Your own death wish. I have chosen 4 messengers of death, 4 horsemen of my created apocalypse, 4 carriers of the plague who will infect their miserable brethren. You, Van Helsing, are now one of the 4. The body of your granddaughter will never be corrupted. Be her joy to walk at my side. I guess technically one third of you is Vampire Bride, so. Oh, now all these guys are like, oh, that wasn't the plan. What? That's right, motherfuckers. You're gonna die too. The girl that you love is mine already, and through her you will yet do my bidding. You promised us. Yeah, Dracula never was too good at delivering on his promises, was he? Don't give a damn about people. Just to use them. That he released the plague on himself. He was seeing the effect. Dracula's just saying that, smiling. He's enjoying it. Now he's gone and done it. You released the plague. A pretty good fight scene, actually. As I said, Spectre Murray's quite a resourceful chap. Dude's all messed up from the plague. His flesh is rotting. Oh, he's gonna electrocute his ass. Do the bzzz. In God's name. Love when he says it. Oh, that's it. Oh, fries his ass. It's pretty cheese-tastic. Just like, oh, try and touch everybody else. Get the hell away from me, dude. Dude's melting. Here we go. The place is on fire. That comes one of my favorite scenes in the franchise. So awesome when they Van Helsing and Dracula go at it right here. It's so freaking awesome. Get away, man. Look at his eyes. I love the bloodshot eyes. My revenge has spread over centuries, and it's just begun. I love it. Yeah, well, it's kind of about to end, actually. But I just love that scene, the fire behind him. It's just so perfect. That's freaking classic. He's just like, Dracula's pissed. His whole plan's literally going up in flames as the Pelham house is engulfed in fire. Now he's chasing after Van Helsing into the woods. Here we have one of the most, infamous endings in the franchise with the hawthorn bush symbolizing the Christ in his crown of thorns. You heard him earlier in the film, and that comes into play here at the end. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Count Dracula! I don't care though. He's still menacing as hell in this movie. That in many ways, the symbols of good are used to combat the force of evil. The hawthorn tree, which provided Christ with his crown of thorns. So Van Helsing lures him into the hawthorn bush. This happens to be hawthorn bush there, huh? Dracula's like, I'm gonna kill you. Dracula! He's pissed, boy. He's ready to tear him apart, limb from limb. You see him trying to get through the bushes. It's hilarious. Ah! At least this is funny. Like, unlike Prince of Darkness, it's just so stupid. It's pretty stupid, but it's hilarious. But there's some great shots of him going like, with the blood on him. He freaking sells it. Christopher Lee just sells it, even though it's just ridiculous. That a thorn bush is gonna kill Dracula. A thorn bush, really? Oh man, but he just sells the hell out of it. Like, he's caught in it. He fell down. His leg is caught in the bush. And he's got the crowd around him. Just like Christ. And Peter Cushing grabs a nice steak from the fence nearby. Perfect. Right in the heart, baby. Pushes it all the way. There you have it. Dracula dies once again, turning to ash, defeated by the great Lortimer Van Helsing, the badass that is Peter Cushing. And there you have it, guys. This is a really pretty cool effect how they do this part here with the fog comes up and he's slowly deteriorating, turning to ash. And you see a skeleton. That's all she wrote for Count Dracula. His plan did not come to fruition because Van Helsing is a damn boss. Once again, good overcomes evil in the Satanic Rites of Dracula from Hammer Films from 1973, which I feel is an underrated entry in the franchise. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's far from perfect. It's got some moments of cheese, but it's also got some great moments too. There's some great dialogue in there. Some of the best scenes between Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I just think it's a whole lot of fun. I love the whole spy thriller element, the whole Black Plague story, and I just think it's a blast. It's an absolute blast. And I think it was a good way for Christopher Lee to go out. You know, he was still menacing as hell, still great in the role, and yeah, I think it's just enjoyable as hell. People need to give it a chance. Give Satanic Rites of Dracula a chance. It's not bad. It's a lot of fun. Is it a great movie? No, but it's got some great stuff in there. Like compared to, say, a movie like Halloween 5, where I think there's a lot of great stuff in there. People hate it. Like they miss the great stuff in there. Some great scenes in there. But at any rate, thank you for joining me tonight, guys, for our watch along, our live stream commentary for the Satanic Rites of Dracula from Hammer Films, released in 1973, directed by Alan Gibson, starring Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Michael Coles, and Joanna Lumley. And thank you so much for joining me tonight in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Have a great night, guys, and have a very happy new year, everyone. Peace out, guys. Have a great one.